Hello, my name is Gloria Salvador Flowers, and I'm doing my presentation for Intro to Business 110, and I'm doing it on JCPenney and how it became a franchise. So, to give an overview, we're going to start from the very beginning of how JCPenney started. So, JCPenney, the founder of JCPenney, aka James Cash Penney, he graduated high school and then later got a retail job, and then after that he moved to Colorado because his doctor was like, hey, like, where you're at right now is not good for your health, so he moved. Then he got a job called the dry goods store, aka Golden Rule, and it's in Colorado and Wyoming. And so then that's when he met the two guys who owned that store. And then later, they realized he was doing so good. So then they offered him a part in their business. So then he was like, hey, like, I want to start something new. So then later he moved to Wyoming with his wife and son around 1907. And he opened 2 more stores because, the first one was doing so great. And he was like, let's go ahead. So then we move on to how did JCPenney become a franchise. So I read an article, and basically, like, when they first started JCPenney, like, when James Cash Penney first opened his first store, it just did so good that it took off. So he just kept opening more. And so by 1913 and 1929, they had about 34 stores around in the American West. Then later on, they moved their headquarters to New York and planned for national expansion. Around 1929, they had about 1,392 stores. That is a lot. So how did franchising help JCPenney? Franchising helped JCPenney by basically expanding, and they did really good. And honestly, it surprised me. Like, when I was doing my research, I was like, wow, like, I've never heard of a business do so good, And so later on, what type of franchise is JCPenney? So for me, when I was doing my research, what type of franchise is JCPenney? They're a department store chain which quickly grew, and they were very popular in the U.S. quite naturally, like all these other stores like Sears, Dillard's, and Belk. But they were really popular around the 1900s. And so a lot of them were actually downtown, and a bunch of downtown places and areas. Then later, shopping malls became the popular place. So then they moved to shopping malls, but not in the actual mall, just like the outside. So it was like their store, but connected to the mall, which actually we have one here in Wilmington. What made them go global was basically because they got imported goods from different places around the world, such as Hong Kong, India, and Pakistan, and that's just a few. And it was the appeal industry, and so it was a lot cheaper to get products made, and it still is to get products made in different places other than the US because of how expensive it is, and the currency over there, it's very different from us. Why is JCPenney now bankrupt? So JCPenney they were doing good, of course, around the 1900s, but I think since so much things have changed, that's why it kind of, went downhill. And especially when COVID hit, a lot of places closed down because nobody was going into the stores. So that's why they got hit, and they had to just leave because, they can't have a bunch of people. They can't have workers when COVID's going on. You have to social distance. And, it was really sad. And some of my coworkers, because I work at JCPenney, some of my coworkers were telling me their personal experiences, and I just really felt for them, And then an advantage of franchising is basically you get more sales, and it ensures through a finance agreement how good your products will be. And it's just really, really good, and it gains fast and well control distribution, so it's really good distribution without inquiring high cost. So without like, it'll basic, like I said, talking about importing goods, it makes it a lot cheaper. A disadvantage about franchising is basically it's bad because the actual franchisor, they take a great hit when something bad happens in the franchise, which it sucks, but that's how business operates. And then also, you can't control the whole, like, for workers, they have to wear a certain attire and different things, and they can't control, like, the big company controls, like, what happens, where everything's placed at. That's a disadvantage of franchising. And yeah, that's my assignment.